The moment he said it, I felt the room tilt, just slightly, just enough to make my heartbeat stumble. Thanksgiving. The table glowing under warm lights. Faces too eager, too rehearsed. And then her brother, smirking like he'd been waiting his entire life for this exact frame in time, lifted his glass and said, "Dad is signing the company you built over to me. You get nothing." The cheer that followed felt delayed, like the world's cruelest laugh track. Forks clinking. My wife's hand tightening around her wine glass. The kind of silence that hides behind noise. Then the family lawyer cleared his throat, looked at me, smiled with a kind of pity that felt heavier than contempt. "Should I tell them?" he asked quietly, "or will you?" My wife's brother froze. His fork slipped from his fingers, hitting the plate with a metallic crack that cut through the room like a blade. "Tell us what?" he barked, a brittle edge. The wobble of a man who sensed a trap he didn't know he'd already stepped into. I watched him, all of them, and for the first time in months, the trembling in my chest stilled. Because this moment, this whole twisted performance, they had no idea it belonged to me. The betrayal hadn't come loudly. It never does. It seeped into my life like cold air under a locked door. It began with my wife's distance, small things, small shifts, the late-night work calls, the new passwords, the way she suddenly guarded her phone like it contained her pulse. Then her brother started acting, confident, too confident, like a man rehearsing ownership before the crown was placed on his head. I told myself I was imagining it, paranoia, stress, fatigue. But then I saw the message. One line, half hidden under her notifications, "He doesn't suspect a thing." I stood in the hallway that night, staring at the glow from her screen as she slept beside me, listening to her soft breathing, feeling the truth reaching up from the floorboards like a cold hand wrapping around my ankle. Not infidelity, not a lover, worse, a conspiracy. My wife, her brother, her father, their lawyer, all quietly planning to take the company I built long before any of them existed in my life. And I realized something I hadn't wanted to face. Their affection had been strategic, their loyalty conditional, their love a negotiation I had never agreed to. But I didn't confront her, not yet. I let the suspicions settle inside me, cold and sharp, like a needle beneath the skin. I let it grow roots. I became quiet, observational, a man learning the architecture of betrayal one detail at a time. Phone records, financial statements, emails, private meetings at their family home, patterns of communication without plausible purpose. I said nothing, smiled when appropriate, played the devoted husband with the steady hands and measured voice. Inside, I was cataloging every lie, every whisper, every shift in her eyes when I asked, "How was your day?" I commissioned an audit, secret, sealed, and privately handled. The kind that leaves footprints only when I decide they should be found. I traced signatures, timed transfers, mapped every deceitful move they choreographed while believing I was too blind, too trusting, too in love to see it. And all the while, the family prepared for Thanksgiving, the perfect setting for betrayal disguised as celebration. They thought they would corner me there, strip me of what I built, watch me swallow humiliation in front of them. I let them think that, because by then, I already had the documents, the recordings, the lawyer on my side, not theirs. I learned betrayal has a taste, metallic, like blood pressed between your teeth to keep the scream from escaping. But I didn't scream. I waited. The evidence arrived the night before Thanksgiving. A folder dropped on my desk, heavy, final. I read every page, slowly, coldly, like a surgeon studying an X-ray before cutting into rot. It was all there. Their plan to force a transfer, the falsified filings, the signatures they assumed I'd never see. My wife came home late that night, saw me sitting in the dark, hesitated at the doorway. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded, because the truth had already settled, and so had I. The next day, when her brother announced the company transfer, the room erupted with applause. And then the lawyer asked, "Should I tell them, or will you?" I slid the folder across the table. No theatrics, no explanation, just truth. Her brother opened it, and I watched his face fold, then crumble, then break. My wife whispered my name like a prayer, already too late to save her. I didn't say a word. Silence can be more violent than any shout. When he reached the final page, he looked up at me, face pale, eyes trembling. "What is this?" he choked out. I leaned back, calm, detached. "The reason," I said, "you'll never touch my company." I didn't raise my voice, didn't gloat. I simply watched him understand that every move he made had been anticipated. The lawyer cleared his throat. "Everything filed under your name," he said, looking at the family, "was legally reversed 3 weeks ago. Permanently." Her father swore. Her brother shoved the chair back. My wife covered her mouth. I remained still. Because revenge is not the explosion, it's the quiet after. I left the house before dessert. No anger, no shaking hands, just a simple, clean decision. My wife followed me to the porch, tears streaking her face. "Please, talk to me," she begged. I looked at her the way a man studies a photograph of someone he used to know. "You made your choice," I said. "I just let you finish making it." She reached for me. I stepped back. Distance can be mercy or punishment. I no longer cared which it was. As I walked down the driveway, the cold air felt sharp, honest. For the first time in months, my chest felt light, unburdened. People think betrayal breaks you, but sometimes it frees you. And as the door slammed behind me, I understood something final. They had taken their shot, and I had already buried them with it.